This afternoon, on my way home, I unexpectedly noticed something lying next to a pile of trash by the roadside. It was an old car headlight. The front lens had turned heavily yellow, cloudy, and scratched. Perhaps the owner had replaced it with a new one and no longer needed it. Took a closer look. Was it truly worthless? And I decided to bring it home. At my workbench, I placed the headlight down and carefully examined the surface, which had been severely oxidized over time. To clearly compare the results after treatment, I applied a strip of yellow tape straight down the middle, dividing the headlight into two equal halves. One side would be restored, the other side would remain untouched as a comparison. Next, I began preparing the materials. The first ingredient was baking soda, a common kitchen powder, but one with excellent cleaning properties. I put a few spoonfuls of baking soda into a small plastic tray. Then I squeezed in some toothpaste. Toothpaste contains ultrafine abrasive particles that help clean and lightly polish surfaces. Next, added a small amount of dish soap to improve grease removal. And finally, I poured in a bit of Coca-Cola. The mild acid in the soda can help soften the oxidized layer on the plastic surface. I stirred everything together with a spoon. Within seconds, the mixture began to fizz slightly and thicken, forming a moderately abrasive cleaning compound. Now, the experiment begins. To prevent spills, I placed the headlight inside a large aluminum tray. Using a paintbrush, I dipped it into the mixture and evenly brushed it onto the right side of the headlight, the side marked with tape. I made sure the mixture completely covered the surface being treated. Next came the important step, sanding. I used P600 sandpaper, a relatively coarse grit, and sanded firmly and evenly across the coated surface. This process helps remove the oxidized plastic layer and smooth out small scratches. After sanding thoroughly, I rinsed the entire surface with a spray bottle and dried it with paper towels. At this point, the lens still looked slightly cloudy, but that was actually a sign that the outer oxidized layer had been removed. This time, I used finer P1500 sandpaper to sand once more. Steady, Even movements gradually made the surface smoother and smoother. Then I rinsed it again, wiped it with paper towels, and finally dried it completely with a cloth. To further smooth the surface, I applied another layer of toothpaste to the treated area. The surface was now much smoother, but it still hadn't regained its original clarity, so we needed one final step. I used a heat gun to gently dry the sanded surface. This ensured that all remaining moisture was removed before, restoring the transparency. And now comes the most interesting part. I prepared a specialized electric metal cup and some acetone solution. I poured the acetone into the cup and sealed it with a funnel-shaped lid fitted with a nozzle. Then I wrapped tape tightly around the lid to prevent vapor leakage. After plugging it in to heat up, acetone began to evaporate and flow out through the nozzle. I slowly guided the stream of hot vapor across the sanded lens surface, wherever the vapor passed. The lens became clear and glossy. The dull plastic layer gradually disappeared, replaced by a crystal clear surface that looked almost brand new. Finally, I peeled off the yellow tape. The difference was immediately obvious. One side remained yellowed, cloudy, and aged. The other side was clear, shiny, and almost completely restored. If you found this experiment interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so I can continue creating more innovative DIY projects.